Well, just wanted to share something with you guys. Barn find. It's nothing like a good old barn find. Don't know much about the Polaris Explorer 400s, other than and the one thing I do know for sure is that it's a 4x4. It's liquid cooled, and it's a two-stroke. So it's a 400cc two-stroke, reed valve engine. You know they make some good power. Well, this thing's like stuck in time. Picked it up. It's got the snow plow on there. Two older gentlemen had it. I think it was the actual owner. It was a one-owner machine. The guy was like 70 years old. And his friend was about the same age, and they were trying to work on this thing. They were farmers, and what happened was the Bendix on the starter went out. You can see all the original stickers and everything. Isn't that something? The Bendix on the starter went out. You can see here, and there it is down there. Let's see if I can get some light into it. Okay, there we go. See it? There's the flywheel. There's the ring gear, and the starter's behind this Bendix. So when you thumb your starter, when the starter kicks on, there's a spring in here. This will pop back out. This starter gear will pop out. Grab the ring gear, spin the engine. When it starts up, and then you let go of the button, this is supposed to pop back into the pop backwards, so it's out of the way of the ring gear once it's fired up. So anyways, what happened was the Bendix would stay stuck in the forward position, so they stopped using the starter, and then they started using the pull starter. Well, eventually the pull starter failed, and a good friend of mine, he helped me fix it already, and we kind of diagnosed it, figured out what the problem was. But anyways, I've got to do a little work on this pull starter, but it's going to be very minimal. I think it's even got the original stickers there. Isn't that something? Robin engine. Robin, it's a USA made motor. You see USA. It says made in USA there. I guess this is the year that they made them in USA. A lot of USA parts in there. See, USA. So anyways, picked this up, and it was actually my friend's barn find, and then I picked it up off of him because he didn't want to work on it. But this thing was like stuck in time. I mean, the only problem I see here is I've got a problem with the starter gear, and they actually tossed one in here for me. Let's see, the guy actually had one. So I'm going to pop that. I'm going to clean that one up and pop that one back in there. So that's not a big deal. I can get that fixed, get the pull starter fixed. And then I guess the guy used to drive his grandson around. So the guy, his grandson used to put his foot here. So you can see how that wore through. The CVT clutch wore through. So I'll get another clutch cover for that. But anyways, it came with the plow. If you look at it, the rack's got damage here. I don't know. It's cold out here right now. It's winter. I don't know if it got torn out. Somebody may have put a strap on here and try to pull it out of the barn, or maybe somebody tried to lift it and broke that corner off. But that's something that I definitely will replace. And normally I get these things in. You see how straight that is? It's got good headlights. It's got the third one in the center. It's got a good snow plow. The bumpers aren't bent in. Bumpers look fairly decent. What a great barn find. Tires are great. And you can look down in there. You see the stickers? It's got all the labels. Usually when ATVs get thrashed, mud bogged, beat, usually stickers like that are gone. They're gone instantly. A lot of things like that happen. Also, if you look here, like my buddy Steve was showing me, he says, look at this. You rub your finger on there, take the dirt off, and it's not rusted or chipped, or there's a little tiny chip there, but it's all minimal. See that? So that should clean up pretty good. Another thing I was looking at here was if you look down in here, You see the knuckle guards? They're intact. The ARMs aren't damaged, they're straight. Looks good on there. The undercarriage is great. Bumper still has a tag on there. See that? And it's got a mount for the winch. So the one thing I like about this 400 liquid cooled, this 400cc two-stroke is that, you know, it's going to be lighter and it's going to make more power than a four-stroke. It's got McPherson struts, independent front suspension. So you see how the tags are still on there, and it's liquid cooled. So that's a great thing for longevity. And here's another kicker on this barn find. A couple other things that I liked about it, but if you look on a odometer, 664 miles. It's a baby. It's all-wheel drive. It's selectable. So you see, just click the button, and you activated your front all-wheel drive system. So you got the fronts are going to be driving. Disconnect it, you know, hit the switch off, and when you don't need it. So, and it's also got reverse, high, neutral, and low. So it's nice to have that low range. I mean, that's really good. It's a nice find. I mean, it's really all there. It just needs a good cleaning. The rear tires are good. Another indicator of abuse is when you look at the rims, if you look at the beads, you'll see dents, gouges, you know, from rocks and from hard riding and thrashing. These beads are straight as new. You see that? Nothing. So are the backs, all the way around. All the rims and tires. You know, this thing was gently used. It was probably more so used to plow his driveway. And, you know, worst comes to worst, I may replace the belt. Start off with a fresh one if it needs it. But, you know, usually you plow 4 low. So, you know, and if you figure a 67-year-old guy plowing snow, I don't think he's going to be too hard on it. What a great find. See the rack in the back? This thing is just straight all the way across the board. Just straight as can be. It's even got the little hitch in the back. I'm going to have to adjust the chains. It's got a little tail light back here. Let's see. Solid axle. And I'll tell you what, I've had the independent suspension utilities, and I've never liked the jello-y feel. Even if you add sway bars to them, I've never liked the feel of the independent suspension. Is great. It's got its points, perfect ground clearance, excellent for mudding. But if you want a larger ATV, utility style that's got a 4-wheel drive, if you're kind of into the sport riding as I am, I'm a sport ATV rider. I like flying around turns and sliding, kicking the back end around, and I don't like that jello-y feel of the independent suspension quads. Now, this solid rear axle will actually make it more stable going around turns. And another note on this thing is, see how the chain's adjustable with an eccentric? It's got like a big cam on there. That's great. That's like the Hondas. You can see it. That's just you know, this is a good find. Look at it. See, the stickers are even back here. Look, it's still got all the labels everywhere. And, oh, you know, I was treasure hunting and lifted up this seat. And you can see the seat. The seat, it's dirty, needs to be cleaned, but no rips or tears. I mean, it's in excellent condition. Even the, let's see, the bracket back here for the seat, no wear. Look at it. It's all there. So this is a good find. Now, when I was treasure hunting, I saw this compartment back here. So I popped it open. Look at that. How many 1986 ATVs do you see or have you found that actually have the original owner's manual on there? That's a great find. I even got a little toolkit. A little more treasure hunting in here. And see what's all in there. Maybe some diamonds, gold. Maybe these guys were miners. I don't know. There's the original toolkit. Look at that. Isn't it neat? That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's cool. Even the handle. Like all brand new stuff in there. Stuck in time, buddy. Neat. Normally, I'll buy these and I'll flip them. And, oh, there's a little tire pressure gauge in there. I'll buy them and I'll flip them, you know, do a valve lash adjustment, do a little work to them, and then kick them out the door. and make a little buck here and there. But I think this one, I don't know, this one's kind of, I may keep this one around for a while. I can sure use that snowplow up in front. Use that for my driveway and not use a snow blower. So that, I mean, that, you can play around with that a little bit. But this is probably something nice just to have around. I don't know much about these. Like I said, I know that these hubs that they have up in front, there's something, well, I see a little drain plug here. These things, there's a magnet in there that activates the hubs, the lockouts. So I've got to find out more about that. But if it works, that's great. I'm going to change the fluids in here. You can see there might be a fill hole. And then I think you're supposed to put these like at 3 o'clock, is what my buddy Steve was telling me. You know, drain them out here, clean the O-rings, get it all out, and you fill it up with the gear lube, the right gear lube, whatever weight that is. And see, I just noticed it's even got a fan back there for the radiator. Zoom in. All good things. You know, I know that scramblers, people have souped up those 400 scramblers to make 75, 80 horsepower. I've heard of that. So, and I'm thinking this is probably the same engine, but just tuned for more torque. Yeah, what a good barn find, huh? I'm really happy with it. It's oil injected, so you can see here, there's the tank there. Usually before I open these, I want to blow all this out. I don't want debris to fall inside, so I really don't ever open them. You know, I blow them out, then I loosen them up a little bit, and then I blow it out again just gently. And it just, make sure nothing falls in there. So I'm not going to mess with that. But yeah, overall, barn find. If anybody knows anything about this, if you're familiar with the Polaris Explorers, if you have one, if you have any experience or knowledge or tips and tricks on how to get that Bendix out of there, I'm going to have to get the flywheel puller out. If you got any info on this type of machine, any real world experience on working on, please pass it down. Any tips, hints, suggestions are appreciated. But I think I might keep this one around. I don't know. I know I can probably get a decent buck for it once it's all done and cleaned up. Oh, and on a side note, I was looking at something kind of funny here. If you look at it, now my friend Steve says he pulled it out of the barn, so it was in a barn. But I was looking at it and I'm like, why is it, the back is not sun faded, but the front is? It's weird. It's just like kind of, you can see right here where the partition is, right where the fuel tank is. The fuel tank fill. And you see how it's kind of faded? Well, what I'm thinking, play Mr. Private Investigator here, is that it was in the barn, but the barn may have had a window or a crack or something, and a roof or something, there must have been daylight coming in. And, for the one part of the day, the sunlight would hit the front part of the ATV where the sun fade is, because it's kind of, see the sun fade, and then all of a sudden the back is fine. And let's face it, if sun was bearing down on that seat would have been cracked and dry rotted. So, that's kind of a good thing that it just got the front. So, any advice on getting that sun fade out of there? Am I going to have to repaint it, leave it the way it is? Or maybe there's some way I can buff it out and get to the stuff underneath again, rejuvenate it. Any products, you can save me the time, I'd appreciate it. Send me some info, guys. I'll do a few updates on this guy as we go. Once I dig into it, from what I understand, I know it's got good compression because I spun the engine, but I'm gonna soak the cylinder with some oil and I'm gonna go real easy with that, and get it running, clean the carbs out, get everything done up on this. I'm gonna strip it down, but I'll give you guys a couple updates on this. But anyways, please feel free to chime in. Oh yeah, look at this, lightly used. You see that? There's even a sticker back here, right next to the rear, the rear drive tires. Look at that. That's something else. See, this thing hasn't been bogged or torn up. Pushing snow is hard, but if you do it right and you're in 4 low, you should be fine. But anyways, this is Banshee Fever 750. Banshee's on the rack, undergoing some cosmetic surgery. See the engine compartment's cleaning up. I still haven't taken the parts off for powder coating. I've been busy here. But I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to mount these lines. Am I going to go stainless steel braided?